As a federal employee, when is the best day to retire? I'm JT, and this is all about FERS. This has become a hot topic. It seems that everyone wants to give their 2 cents, and they're making it seem like there's some secret special date to retire. We work closely with the best in the industry, specifically Tammy Flanagan. She's been working in the federal benefits space for over 30 years and has a wealth of knowledge and experience. You know, she may be the one to blame in all this hype and picking the best date to retire, because years ago she published a very popular article. It was back when everyone was in CSRS, there wasn't a TSP, there wasn't interim checks or anything like that. So the strategy back in the day was to maximize their lump sum leave check. So retiring at the end of the leave period or at the end of the leave year was really important. We still see that today with some employees carrying over 240 hours of annual leave into the next year and then maximizing their annual leave in the year they retire to make sure that they get the largest annual leave check possible. The end of the leave year is still a very popular time to retire. OPM calls that the surge. 25% of retirees are submitting applications at the end of the leave year. But now that's not the only consideration. There's some other benefits to coordinate. And for example, for us here in Alaska, the end of the leave year is in January. And in January, it's cold and it's dark. So does it really make sense to stop working in the middle of winter? There are many things to consider, and everyone's situation is a little different. So I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to give you a specific date to retire, but hopefully I'll give you some guidelines and some considerations so that you can decide what date is best for you. When it comes to picking the best date to retire, I like to ask, what are we solving for here? What are we trying to optimize? If you tell me, I really want to enjoy the summer, then maybe for us here in Alaska, we're looking at April and May rather than January. So again, what goal are we trying to achieve? It's not always about maximizing benefits. If you think about it, if the goal is to maximize benefits, then you should never retire because your benefits are always getting better and better. So there are really 2 questions in considering when to retire. Are you ready financially, and are you ready mentally? Financially, it really comes down to cash flow. Cash flow is the heartbeat of retirement. How much are you wanting to spend on a monthly basis, and where is that income going to come from? Do you have enough money saved up to bridge that gap from when you separate from service and when you get that first pension check? We expect that time to be 30 to 60 days, but there have been delays, and I've seen it take as long as a year before that first check arrives. So financially, are you ready to retire? So that second consideration is mentally. Are you mentally ready to retire? I've seen some people that are just terrified to retire, and for a few reasons. One, the reliable paycheck. It's scary to start living on assets rather than income. What are you going to do with your time? Are you ready to spend 24/7 with your spouse? I know plenty of clients that love their spouse and love spending time with them, but they haven't spent 24/7 together in a long time. So these are 2 really important things to consider. Financially and mentally, are you ready to retire? So let's say you have both figured out and now it's time to actually pick a date to separate from service. Like I said at the beginning of this video, December 31st might make a lot of sense at the end of the year. You can accumulate an entire year's worth of annual leave and it's paid out in a lump sum check. But here are 3 guidelines or 3 things to consider when picking this date. The first is at the end of the month. The second is sick leave. And the third thing is just overall big picture. So when does your pension start? It starts at the first of the following month. So for example, if you retired on May 5th, then your pension would start on June 1st. If you retire on May 15th or May 20th, your pension still starts on June 1st. So generally, we're recommending that you retire at the end of the month because your pension or retirement starts at the beginning of the following month. If you retire at the beginning of the month, then you have to go an entire month without a paycheck, and that time's not going towards your retirement. So how does sick leave affect your pension? Accrued sick leave hours convert to days and months of creditable service towards your pension. But sick leave can't be used to qualify for a pension, only used to increase the number of years of creditable service to potentially increase your pension a little bit. For example, if we're looking at an MRA in 30 retirement or minimum retirement age with 30 years of experience, but you only had 29 years and 6 months of actual creditable service, but over 6 months of sick leave, we can't use that sick leave to qualify for that MRA in 30. But if you had the full 30 years and 6 months worth of sick leave accrued, then that sick leave can be applied to increase your pension by a little. So should you use your sick leave while you're still working or put it towards your retirement? If you have a valid reason to use your sick leave, like you have a major surgery coming up, a knee replacement or something, your sick leave is much more valuable while you're working than putting it towards your creditable service. The reason for that is that you're still collecting a paycheck, you're still paying into the TSP, you're still earning Social Security credits. It's just more valuable to use your sick leave while you're still working if you have a valid reason. If not, then great, let's put it towards your creditable service and get a little bit of an increase in your pension. One thing to be careful about is looking at a retirement estimate and seeing that you have 6 months and 20 days of sick leave. And so you say, well, let's burn 10 days of sick leave. Only full months count towards retirement. We want to be really careful about burning those extra days of sick leave. For example, your creditable service is a combination of your years of creditable service worked, years, months, and days, your sick leave accumulated, years, months, and days, and any military time that you bought back, years, months, and days. All of that combined equals your total years of creditable service. So we don't want to burn up those extra sick leave days until we know exactly what those numbers are, maybe around 3 months or so until retirement. Many people don't want to leave any sick days on the table, but that can be really risky. One sick leave day is 6 hours, but a work day is 8 hours. So if we have 10 sick days left over and use them all, it will cost more than 10 sick days to take 10 days of work off. So again, if I have 6 months and 10 days of sick leave, but I burn those 10 days of sick leave, it might cost more than 10 days of sick leave to take those 10 days off. And that might only give me 5 months of sick leave to apply towards my creditable service. So we want to be really careful about burning those extra sick days, and we do want to leave some on the table. The third thing is knowing the big picture, knowing your benefits and options. For example, MRA, minimum retirement age, and 30, age 60, and 20, age 62 with 5 years of service. At age 62, you only need 5 years of service. So in some cases, I've seen people reach age 62 with 19 years of service and forget that at 62 and 20 years of service, their pension does increase by 10% or so. So we want to know all of our options and know our benefits well enough that we can see the big picture. Those big picture items are going to have more of an effect on your pension than deciding between the 15th or the 29th to retire. Another big picture item is the FERS supplement. The FERS supplement goes away at age 62. And so balancing, should we retire before age 62 and draw that FERS supplement, or wait until after age 62 to potentially get a little bit higher of a pension? As you can see, there are a lot of considerations here and a lot of variables. I would encourage you to look at the big picture, consider if you're financially and mentally ready, and plan for both. If you'd like help going through these options, we would love to meet with you. Click the link to our website below to schedule a time to work one-on-one with a federal employees benefits specialist. Until next time, happy planning.